you all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Usually when we watch scary films, the character that plays the devil will more than likely have similar attributes to the Haitian voodoo deity Papa Legba. Now his name may sound familiar if you watched the popular series American Horror Stories, and if you've seen the movie The Skeleton's Key, Papa Justify was inspired by Papa Legba. But we know in films, spirituality never really gets portrayed fairly. It's usually demonized. So let me explain who Papa Legba is to you all, because he is going to be playing a major role in this story. So Papa Legba stands at the spiritual crossroad, deciding whether or not to grant or withhold permission for communication with other spirits. Additionally, he has the responsibility of opening and closing the portal to the spirit world. In addition to granting permission, he facilitates communication with other spirits. While many Loas may not share a language with their followers, Papa Legba is fluent in all languages. Often, he's essential as a translator in interactions with other spirits. Papa Legba has a pivotal role as the one who initiates access to the spirit world, and his proficiency in translating any language make him the initial and final spirit evoked in ceremonies. So along with Papa Legba, and this goes for all spirits as well that many people work with, you must pay respect, you must pay them, and you must pay the person that utilizes them. So let's just say you get a reading from someone and their spirit guide is Papa Legba or Oshun or Yamaya, whoever. You must pay them because they are a vessel to that spirit to communicate with the spiritual world. You must pay your respects. You must pay them. And know that you just can't go calling out these spirits all willy-nilly. You just can't wake up one day and be like, oh man, my phone bill late. Papa Legba, I need you to pay my phone bill. You ain't never called on him before, but now all of a sudden, the first time you call on him, you asking for something. Don't do that. And something else we must remember, don't go making promises to spirits and not keeping them. Let's just say you get a reading from someone and they utilize Ogun, right? You don't want to get a reading from them. That person says, hey, you're going to go in for this interview. I need you to wear the color green because they're going to be attracted to that color. You need to apply for this job on this day. They give you the whole guideline. And you know what? You say, oh, as soon as my financial situation get a little better, I'm going to bring you a yam for your Ogun altar. Let's just say you get that job, you start making money, but you never bring Ogun that yam. You broke that promise to Ogun. It may just sound like a yam. It's not that big of a deal. I'll do it when I get time. I'm busy working now, making money. All my problems are resolved, so I'm not worried about that tarot reader. I got what I wanted. But you still owe Ogun a yam. You may have paid the tarot reader, but in that reading, you said, oh, I want this job so bad. If I get it, I'm going to bring him a yam. And we know Ogun like yams. You were supposed to bring him that yam so he could put it on his altar, but you never did. Now, you know how you break promises with people. They don't talk to you no more. They can't trust you no more. Imagine that times 10 with the spirit. You owe them that yam. You can't do this simple sacrifice for something big that they did to you. Now you losing a job. You having trouble with your manager. Not everything is havoc because you didn't want to take your behind to Whole Foods and bring Ogun a yam. A simple promise that you broke. Also with spiritual work as well, you want to make sure you're not doing it in a time of desperation. I shared in many videos when you're doing spell work, rituals, manifestations. You want to make sure you're doing it when you're having a good time. You're in a good mood. You're vibrating high. Don't have a rough day at work and then you go rushing home trying to do a money manifestation. You still mad at your manager. So she's on your mind. You're thinking about what you should have told that manager. You should have cussed her out. You should have said this. You should have said, well, you don't want to be taking 30 extra minutes on your break. You thinking about all that. You're not worried about that money manifestation. You want to make sure you're in a good mood. You're vibrating high because what you do is going to reflect your emotions. So if you're manifesting, you could see yourself with that new job. You're feeling happy because you could see yourself driving up to the building. You could see yourself getting new clients or customers. That spell work or that ritual is going to work better because it's working with more happier, fast vibrating positive energy. Whereas if you're stressed and worried, that spell work going to turn out stressed and worried. Also, we know desperate times calls for desperate measures. So sometimes if you're desperate for something, you may do and promise things that you usually would not do because you really want what you're trying to manifest or do spell work on really, really bad. You may risk your morals. You may minimize your boundaries. You may sacrifice a little bit of respect just because you're so desperate for whatever you're trying to work on. Don't do it during those times because you're going to look back on it and be like, I should have just waited an extra day when I was calm. I reacted off of emotions. I was upset. Now I regret it. Don't react off of emotion, okay? Now let's get into the story. Katelyn and Restin. We will be calling her Kate throughout the story. She is 19 years old from Virginia Beach, and she is a new mom to a 5-month-old. And she started getting into the occult practices. And what do we do when we start getting into new things? We Google smoogle. We want to see what this is about, whether it's a new person, a new job. Let me see what these employees look like. Let me see what this store reviews look like. Before I buy a car, let me see what this look like. We always look into things. And we know when it comes to spirituality and you do a lot of Google smoogling, you're more than likely going to land on somebody's Facebook page. And we know how the spiritual community can be on Facebook. That's why I stay from up over there in their business and do my own thing. But Katelyn ended up finding some groups on Facebook that gave occult practices advice, witchcraft advice, voodoo advice. And she leaned more towards the voodoo side, right? And I must mention, Kate is a white woman. So just keep that in mind throughout the story. Yes, she felt compelled to dabble in voodoo. We know. Okay. So as Kate was exploring the forum pages, exploring the post on there, she decided one day that she wanted to ask a question herself. So she posed a question in one of the comment sections asking if she should hex her ex. Now, like I said before, you do not want to go around hexing your ex, because in the moment it's going to sound like they betrayed you. You feel so bad, you pissed off. A year from now, you will not be this upset. You will not want to throw him in the freezer box and get some graveyard dirt, sprinkle it over his name and put it in a black candle. You will not want to do all that. Just wait it out, because then you're going to feel bad. I mean, I don't know. Some people don't. But I feel like you will feel bad about it later. Like, don't, because you wouldn't want someone to do it to you. You know, that's how I am. I could be a little too nice. You know what you could do instead? You can get you an energy trap candle from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. So any negative energy that's going towards you, you could take that energy, flip it to positive, utilize that person's energy that sent it over to you, utilize it for your better good, your manifestation, your rituals, your prosperity and protection. And all in the meanwhile, instead of returning to sender, you can drain the sender, utilize their energy. They want to send something your way, so drain it out of them and use it for your benefit. You can do that. So you're not necessarily putting a spell on someone. It's just, hey, whoever sent the energy out, that's who I'm gonna use. You didn't, I ain't shoot at you, you shot at me. But back to the story. So Kate decided to start dabbling in voodoo. She made a Facebook post that said, let people live and have their own religion. If someone is into something different, accept that. Stop saying, no, you come from God. I'm wicked and I always will be. So shut the fuck up and let me be. Now, I know what you're thinking. How are you saying I'm wicked, but you're practicing voodoo? Right. That's like a Muslim person saying, you know what? I am Muslim. Okay, I practice Christianity. No, I get what you meant, but no. Same street, different houses, you know? So along with that post, she attached 3 photos. The photos were not symbolizing unity. We should embrace each other and not judge each other on our spiritual practices. It wasn't that. It was 3 photos of her setting a voodoo doll on fire. We can assume that the voodoo doll was a representative of her ex. She was setting on fire, and God knows what else she was doing to it, because it was needles all up and through there. We don't know what petition she wrote. And y'all, I must also mention, along with Kate being white, her ex is black. So it's a lot of stuff going on. So you're a white woman, you know, nothing wrong being white. Shout out to the white people. You're a white woman saying that you're Wiccan, but you practice voodoo, and then now you want to hex your black girlfriend using voodoo as a white woman, utilizing a black deity, because we're about to get into the deity that she wanted to utilize. So with this post, along with the photos, came the comments. Now in the comments, it's just a bunch of people trying to warn her. First, my warning would be, girl, if you're doing spell work, don't post it. Do not post it. I feel like some people post their rituals and spell work to look, you know, all woo woo woo, to look all threatening and intimidating, so someone be like, oh, let me not mess with her, she do voodoo. You should not be posting it. I know your altar real pretty. I know those candles are gorgeous. I know those flames are jumping. Then with your man at home. I know they're doing all of the things with the things you wrote so neatly on your petition. The dove's blood just dropped so beautifully and then made a little flower. I know it looks good, but do not post it. Take a picture for your own benefit so you can see how you did it, but don't go posting it. Don't go do love spells and be like, look what I'm working on. Or don't go do a protection spell or return the sender or a hexing and be like, look what I'm doing, so you could look intimidating, or you could just look real like, ooh, she's wicked, she's spooky. Don't do that. Because unless the only time I see it and I'm like, okay, if if I were to do a group candle burning, which I want to get into, if I were to do a group candle burning, I would post a picture to the group of people who are in the group candle burning, just so they can see the progress of the work. That's different, because the people watching it are a part of it. You don't want to go post a prosperity ritual, then you got the evil eye watching you and you got haters watching you. You don't know what intent they're going to throw your way. Keep that stuff protected. That would be my warning. But other people are, of course, warning her, girl, you're white. Why are you practicing voodoo? Girl, why are you doing voodoo? Voodoo is evil. Don't you believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Of course, everyone's having their own opinion on what to do, but everyone is trying to warn her. That didn't scare Kate. But you want to know what did scare Kate? Papa Legba. But we'll get into that. And just a side note along with this, as I mentioned before, I feel like sometimes spirituality gets demonized in movies and films, publications. Anything presented or shared to the public is always demonized. But I feel like specifically it's Black spirituality. It's always playing off of African beliefs. There's always a creepy voodoo lady in a film. She's not there to help or heal you, which she has the power to do, but she's putting a curse on a random person. Or there's Papa Legba playing the devil and not the person that's actually at the crossroads communicating between humans and spirits, which is what he's mostly known to do. It's always some type of demonic mission that they're on. Or sometimes when people just call all type of spirituality, root work, hoodoo, spiritual work, rituals, or some people just call it work, voodoo. Just because you see someone with a candle, a petition, and some drops of blood, that does not mean they do voodoo. If you see someone wearing a crystal, that does not mean they do voodoo. Stop calling everything that deals with Black people and spirituality voodoo. So going back to Kate, she received several warnings that she decided to ignore from people in her comment section. And then one day on April 17th, 2020, Kate decided to summon Papa Legba. Why did she summon him? I don't know. I'm sure she don't know neither. But she decided to try to summon Papa Legba. And then she made a post on Facebook that said, "I saw Papa Legba today. I'm scared." And I'm just like, you call yourself a Wiccan voodoo girl and now you're scared because you see a deity that's a part of voodoo that you so-called practice? Don't get scared now after you tried to summon him. But continuing the story, many people believe that this was true, that she saw Papa Legba and she did get scared, because 2 days later, Kate was found dead in her mother's home, face down in her bathtub. Now, many people believe it was Papa Legba that killed her, and others believe that it was Baron Samadi. I believe this whole belief came from someone who said that they did a reading and the spirit told them it wasn't Papa Legba, it was him, Baron Samadi. Now, when it comes to people doing readings on situations that have nothing to do with them, they don't have access to that person to get permission granted to them to tap into their energy and read their spirit, I usually don't believe it. Just because I feel like to do a reading on someone or situations that's dealing with someone, you need their permission to tap into their energy. Like if someone were to post a video doing a reading on BlaqueWitchYaya, I wish my spirit guides would go to you and gossip about me. And I'm sure if I were to watch that video, they're going to be like, yeah, you know, Yaya, she be sleeping late and she litter. I'm going to be like, who in the world are you talking about? It's going to sound like I'm listening to one of my story times, like this is a story about someone else, because the information isn't going to hit unless you're guessing. But that's me. When people do readings on like celebrities or like other people, I'm like, you don't have permission to do that. So who's telling you this information? But that's me. I know everybody has their different thing, but I'm like, you need permission from that person to tap into their energy. My spirit guides aren't going to come to you and be like, yeah, girl, so Yaya, you know, she be liking French fries a lot. So with that information, they're not going to do that. Also, that's why if you're ever like in a public setting or in a store and someone comes up to you like, I have a message for you. You're going to see a lot of prosperity within the next 2 years, but you must cut people off. Don't read me. I didn't give you permission to tap into my energy. I'm in here for canned goods, and you're up here trying to tell me about a dead relative. I didn't ask you for that. So for myself personally, the story of this white woman who's saying she's Wiccan, she practiced voodoo, she summoned Baron Samadi, she's doing hexes on her ex, then she was found dead. Taking the dead part out of it, do I believe she summoned Papa Legba? No. I'm like, maybe she was, because it seems with her posting that voodoo doll, she was just trying to do stunts and shows to try to make it seem like I'm up here doing this ritual work. I feel like it was just for a stunt and show. I don't believe she really seen him. Because what Papa Legba doing talking to you? Then again, maybe he just did it to scare you. Like, girl, don't be calling me for no reason. Because you do not want to call Papa Legba, and if you ain't got nothing to say, don't waste his time. He like, girl, I'm at the crossword. Why are you calling me? If you call him, make sure you have something for him and you have something for him to do. Do not call him for play like, oh, I just wanted to see your face. No. But y'all know me. I do not believe that you can use any type of ritual, magic, or spells to kill people. I don't think you can do it unless I just haven't met someone who can do it. Maybe I haven't seen it myself. Because I see that when it happens, I feel like the person is just trying to look more. Remember when Kevin Samuels died and there were like several people who came out saying, yeah, he died because I put him in a jar. And it's like, you really think he died because you put him in a jar? Or did he just have heart problems? Now, mind you, I am not a Kevin Samuels fan, but he gave the weak boys confidence. So, hey, I guess he was doing a good deed. But I don't think no one killed him. He had heart problems. Black men don't like to go to the doctor, you know? So there are several lessons that we can take from this. Don't go messing with random spirits. Just because you are spiritual does not mean you need to call on random spirits. Don't think that you have to communicate with all of your ancestors. I hate to admit it, but some ancestors weren't good people when they were here on earth. You don't want to call on your jealous auntie that passed away for a prosperity ritual. You may not want to talk to her at all. Also, you do not have to do spells to be spiritual. Even though we know words are a spell, as we are communicating throughout the day, we are constantly casting spell. That's why when we write out something, we write in cursive. We know all of that, but I'm talking literally. You do not have to have, you don't have to have this to look like you spiritual. You don't have to have 10,000 oils, 40,000 candles. That doesn't make you more spiritual. You just work with what you feel like working with and what works for you. Along with that, know that you don't have to give your spirituality a title. You don't have to say, oh my gosh, I'm spiritual. Am I going to practice voodoo? Am I going to practice hoodoo? Am I going to practice root work? Am I just going to do I want to be a priest? Do I want to be a baba? You don't have to do all that. You don't have to give it a title. You can just be spiritual and do as your spirit guides you. Because spirituality in general is very individualized. So even if you have a title, even if you say, hey, I'm going to practice voodoo. All individuals who practice voodoo do their own thing that calls to them and works for them. If you go to one voodoo lady asking for prosperity, the way she do is going to be different from the next voodoo lady that you go to and ask for prosperity. It's all going to be different. So never feel like you have to give it a title, because even underneath that title, there's going to be different elements and layers that you're going to dive into to develop your own craft. Also with spirituality, make sure you practice your own spirituality first, because I would hate for you to just be on this part of your journey. Even though I say you're not just starting your spiritual journey. You start your spiritual journey from the day that you were born, and everything you did, everything you practiced, every church service you went to, every mass you went to, whatever led you to this point. But I would hate for you to be on this part of your journey and you're just exploring, discovering what works for you. Then you go get initiated and you may be a part of a house that's with people who are just bullies and dictators and want to control you, and now you're so new and vulnerable with your spirituality that you're just doing and saying whatever they do because you didn't take that time to learn your own spirituality, to learn your own voice, to learn how you receive messages, to learn when you get signs and signals so you can trust your intuition when things are going right, going wrong, where you need to go left, right, do this now or tomorrow, next week. Learn to listen to your own voice, so when you have someone who's telling you something different and that's just trying to take advantage of you, you have that little voice in your head that you're used to talking to that's like, no, don't listen to them. No, they no good for you. Up, no, walk away. Get to know that voice, because if you don't, then you're like, oh, my house leader said I got to do this, so I must do it. Don't listen to that voice, because at the end of the day, your inner voice, your intuition, your higher self is the main thing that you need to listen to. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. And like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, I share.